Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. It's an exciting day because we have the class update beta stream live. Now, what does that mean? It means the Chrono and Riot Guard classes have been completely reworked, and we're going to go through them. We're going to run through each of the classes that have been reworked. We're going to do a quick tester run for each. I'll explain to you what the changes are. But before we do that, lads, I'm going to give you a quick reminder on how to access the beta stream. So what you should do, from your Steam window, you should mouse on over to your game, Synthetik 2, right click on it, go into properties, go over to beta, and over here you should be on none. But if you flip over into testing, WIP next updates, put that in as your beta, close the window, what you should get is a quick download of the beta stream. And that is a very quick and easy way, lads, in which you can access the beta. So, back into the beta. Now, what's changed? Why do we have a class update beta stream in any case? They've been looking to rework the classes in general. The old approach of having 4 abilities, or as we used to call it, 1+3, meaning 1 mobility ability and then a class core, a specialization, and a utility, that's been changed and worked around. This has been done in order to give the classes a little bit more of a narrower focus, a bit more flavor for each class, and in the process also getting rid of some of the abilities that were never used. So in a lot of runs in the past, on Synthetik 2, you might have found yourself not using your utility ability all that much, right? So what they've done in an effort to streamline this is move to a 1+2 configuration. So what does that really mean? They've dropped one of the ability slots. So you'll see now, instead of having 4 abilities here, we only have 3. And it means that you have your mobility, which pretty much sticks around, plus 2 specific class abilities. Now, in future, the other thing they're going to change here is that I believe one of these abilities is going to be switchable across all Chrono classes. So there will be an option to pick and customize one of the abilities out of a pool of abilities that will be available to all of the classes under the Chrono spec, essentially. So that's some of the broader changes. There's going to be quite a bit of iteration going forward in the beta stream, I'm sure. I'm sure we're going to see more classes released. As I've said, it's only the Chrono and the Riot Guard at this point in time. That will expand. What I thought we would do today is we will look at each one of the specs of a class. We'll quickly speak through the abilities, the focus perks, what some of the new perks are. And then we'll flip over and do a very quick run, but just the first level, just to get a feel of what the new class is like. We'll pop back into this screen, we'll pick another class, and we'll do exactly the same. Hopefully we'll get through both Riot Guard and Chrono. I might just do Chrono today, but I just wanted to put this video up as quickly as possible to give all of you guys a flavor of what's actually changed. So let's take a look at the Chrono Trooper. We have the traditional Chrono Blink with a little bit of a twist. Now, while moving, you can quickly teleport in a movement direction. It now costs shields to use this. And it is in the region of about 350 shields, I believe, out of your total of 1,200. So it does have quite a significant cost attached to it. That's pretty much true of Striker and Trooper. I think it's a little bit different with Breacher, but we'll get around to that. The other interesting point now is that while standing still, i.e. not moving, you teleport backwards. Now, you kind of think to yourself, why is that the case? There's a very interesting interaction that we'll get to in a bit around why Chrono Blink has a teleport backwards while standing still. But anyway, Chrono Blink's not that different. Shields to use, as opposed in the past, that wasn't the case. Let's move on to timed Chrono Charge. Now, this has changed completely from the previous iteration. If you guys remember Chrono Charge in the past, right-click ability, class core, basically you blink near an enemy, you explode, you deal fusion damage to them. That's pretty much the same, except for a really new interesting mechanic around an activation timer. So now it triggers an explosion around the android. It deals strong fusion damage in an area. That's something you should be aware of. Fusion is strong against shields, yada yada, we know that. It activates after 2.5 seconds and deals more damage in the center. Now that's really cool. So that means that you activate it, you're now in a timer of 2.5 seconds, you want to use your Chrono Blink to get in as close to the enemy, and once that goes off, it deals a heck of a lot of damage. Harder to implement, harder to use, but a bit of a skill ceiling added to the class. I really like it. It should be interesting to see how that works out. Shield Dome, which used to be the utility ability. Now, I mean, it is still a utility ability, but we've done away with what used to be the 4th utility ability, which was pretty much similar across all classes. It is now an ability for the Chrono Trooper. So this places an energy dome. I think you guys know what this does. Boosts recharge speed, fusion-based actions, recharge speed of fusion-based actions by 30%. Grants you max shields, and affects everyone that's inside that, including enemies, which is something just to look out for. Now, the interesting part here is now it instantly reduces all your ability cooldowns by 15 seconds when used. Now, that's really cool, because guess what? Timed Chrono Charge is a 15-second cooldown. So, Shield Dome is a way to pretty much instantly replenish your timed Chrono Charge, jump back in, and do another explosion. Really cool. If we look down over to the new perks, you'll notice that it's slightly different. There are now more perks in play, whereas before you only used to have 2, which is obviously the focus perk plus the 2 perks you get with the specific class. Now you get 4 different perks per class. Don't quite know how they want to implement this down the line, but let's quickly look at what these are. So we've got Temporal Ammo. Using teleport grants 2 seconds of temporal ammo, increases our firing rate and grants a 25% chance of no ammo cost. So what is that telling us? Wants us to blink next to enemies, shoot them down, even gives us a new fusion SMG as a starter for the Chrono Trooper. What I really like about some of these changes, especially with attaching an SMG to the Chrono, well, the first Chrono Trooper class. Chrono really had a bit of an identity crisis in the past. For some reason, all the different Chrono classes were weird in a way, but Chrono Trooper really didn't have a play style attached to it. Like, how were you meant to play Chrono? I think now with adding a fusion SMG and kind of this really unique timed Chrono Charge, I think that really gives some flavor to the class and the way it's meant to play. So definitely the class that wants to get up in the face of enemies. You want to blow up with your timed Chrono Charge. You want to use temporal ammo and just laser your enemies down with your fusion SMG, at least as a starter. This is again backed up. Now, if you just take a look at the synergy over here, the synergy is obviously another perk, but you can see where they're trying to push Chrono playstyle towards. So if you see that second part, it affects SMGs, assault rifles, it increases your reload speed by 20% and increases your recoil control by 20%. There is obviously some potion booster effect, which I guess is meant to be the item synergy they're going for Chrono. But what this class is really meant to do is get up and close, explode in the face, and then spray enemies down. So really cool, very unique identity now for the Chrono Trooper, something it didn't have before in the past. Now this is what I really love over here, Prime Charge. So if you use the backwards teleport being when you stand still, you prime the Chrono Charge. It adds 1 second to the countdown, so it's 3.5 seconds. The 2.5 seconds now becomes 3.5 seconds. And then it increases the charge damage by 40%. So you can imagine quite an interesting way to play around this is that you activate your Chrono Charge and you backward blink into your enemies and you deal massive amounts of damage. Really cool. Again, very flavorful, clear identity for the class. Really good for the Chrono Trooper overall. So we talked about the synergy, and finally the mastery affects the Chrono Blink. It reduces the delays between usage. So Chrono Blink is a charge-based ability, so you can quickly activate subsequent Chrono Blinks. And if exploding perfectly after teleporting, increases the Chrono Charge damage by 30%. So again, all linked around, built around this time chrono charge and this ability to play in short range. Just take a look at the quickly at the focus perks. I love this first one. Again, flavorful. You tag an enemy by walking past them. Tagged enemies are set up with a time bomb. Deal fusion damage after 2.5 seconds. So you just walk past them, slap a time chrono charge onto their face, and walk away as they explode. Really cool. Really nice. Nice flavor to the focus perk. Another focus perk is Time Freeze. The closest enemy target within 5 meters is time dilated, heavily slows movement speed and fire rate, and takes damage over time, but also gains heavy damage resistance. Disabled if only one target is near. So basically a way to crowd control a bit. One enemy is down, effectively really slow. You can't kill him very fast. You can deal with the other enemies, then come back to him. Pretty cool. And then finally, Focus, Mobility, affects teleport, increases our maximum charges by 1 for our Chrono Blink. Kills that are achieved 0.5 seconds after teleporting, you have a 30% chance to gain 1 teleport charge. So, built around your Chrono Blink and allowing you to blink faster. Don't know how that's going to work with the new kind of linkage towards shield usage, but something that we can definitely try. I think we're going to stick with Focus Time Tag. I think that looks really interesting. Why not just jump right into a game, lads, and see how this plays out? I think we're gonna reduce the difficulty here, get rid of Mayhem and Lightning Start. Probably go down an escalation level or 2, because we are just testing the class out. And we do want to... Maybe we'll just do it at about 175% and just leave it at that. So let's jump right back into the game, see what it's like. This is the new Chrono Trooper. Really looking forward to testing this class out. Okay. Right, so we're going to do a really quick run through. We're going to play around with some of the abilities just to see how they work. We'll get back to the menu and we'll try the Chrono Striker right after that. So here you go, right off the start, you have a Chrono SMG. It is a... Whoa, okay. Hello. Hey, buddy. Can you guys leave me alone for a bit, maybe? Let's try this ability really quickly. Boom. Love it. So you guys saw what I did there. I activated the timed chrono charge. I then blinked backwards, which together with the perk gave me increased damage. And I basically dealt with him that way. But really awesome. Let's keep trying this out. So let's try that chrono charge, that time chrono charge again. Activate it. Let's get in. Oh, really cool. I love it because it really makes you think about exactly the timing in which you want to engage enemies. Now I want to recharge. Oh, got enemies coming again. We want to do this again. Let's try blink backwards this time. Let's run away. Get away. Back. Oh, damn it. Let's run past him. Slap a charge onto him. Oh, there we go. We slapped a charge into that guy there. Anyway, we are getting attacked quite a bit here. Let's replenish that time chrono charge. Just use it again. Ah, we missed it, unfortunately. Lots of enemies here. Let's just get rid of them, guys. I'm going to try and make this work with a big group. Just give me a second here. Let's just stuff around. Let's play around these guys for a bit. Make sure we don't die, and then we can try this again. Okay, so here we go. Here we go. Oh, big explosion. Love it. Okay, anyway. Let's try stop ourselves from dying here. And we can take a look at these abilities a bit more. Let's put a shield up. Activate this again. Love it. Really makes you think about how and when you want to engage. Adds, like I said, in the past, very easy simply to blink yourself in and activate your chrono charge. Now, there's a real element of prep, an element of knowing your timings, knowing your 2.5 second timing, when to hit that exactly. You obviously want to blink accurately into the center of enemies, and then you deal the maximum amount of damage. Really, really cool, actually. Oh, I think I blew up just before I got close to him. And there you're seeing, by the way, that big explosion is the focus time lag. So we're going to try that now. We'll run by this enemy over here, slap a charge onto him. There he is. And boom, he explodes. Now I can activate my own. Get over here. And kill them all. Really, really awesome. Absolutely adds such a unique identity for the class. You obviously now have the Chrono SMG. We haven't really looked at that, but pretty much your standard fusion technology that's available for it, and a usual variant upgrade for some of the starter weapons. You don't get the you don't get the really cool weapon-specific perks. So it is meant to be a starter. It's not going to be impactful for a long period of time. Let's just see how it operates. I mean, honestly, it's not that bad. Let's try and really quickly run into a set of enemies here. You can see over there with I think the Temporal Ammo, which is the perk, you blink right in. It gives you an increased burst fire on your weapon. And there you see that operating as well. So we're not going to really stick around too much longer for this run. We really just wanted to jump in, try out the abilities. Let's do that one more time. Let's run in here, activate our Chrono, run in. There we go, kill everyone. Get in front of a bunch of enemies with this. Put up our shield, reactivate, rearm, get back in, kill them, slap this guy. Really, really awesome. I absolutely love the playstyle, guys. Definitely a class that we're going to give a go with down the line. So that's the Chrono Trooper. I don't think there's pretty much anything else to show you in this case. I think we've pretty much covered everything that's really interesting about the class. So, yeah, we've done the Shield Dome, which recharges your time chrono. The whole playstyle based on you getting close to enemies, and you got to blink backwards. I've got to keep remembering that. So let's get the shield back up. Let's hit this again. Now we can go backwards, and that should blow up. Really awesome. Absolutely love it. Then I want to getting up close with enemies. I'll get my temporal perk ability, a hit. I've now knocked him with a time chrono charge, which is my focus perk. Lots of stuff to manage. Lots of fun to be had. Really think that this might just end up becoming my new favorite class. Now we die over there, that's fine. We just wanted to play around anyway. Really think this is going to become one of my new favorite classes. Love the synergy, love the flavor, love the way the class is built around the concept of that, you know, playing in enemies' faces and using your time chrono charge at exactly the right moment to deal the maximum damage. Brilliant. Love it. Love it. Right. That moves us on to the Chrono Strike, and I think they've had slightly updated descriptions. Let's just quickly touch on that for Chrono Trooper. The basic Chrono Trooper class, highly agile assassin with teleporting capabilities, vulnerable with high burst damage potential, strong mobility, high damage potential, powerful combo play. Exactly what it is, right? All based around that time chrono charge. Chrono Striker, what does the description say? Offensive specialization, waiting for the perfect timing and angle, deals high burst damage but comes with higher risk, vulnerable to high burst, powerful timing based benefits, trades defense for offense. Right. So what do we have with the Chrono Striker? I kind of think of this class as like the Wild Mage. Absolute glass cannon, some really awesome abilities built now around Fusion Blast. If you remember before, Fusion Blast was a really interesting ability with an incredibly high cooldown. Not enough damage to justify the high cooldown. And the class itself, Chrono Striker, just didn't have anything going for it all that much. Well, guess what? That's completely changed. Let's run through that really quickly and see what those changes are. Let me just check if I'm still recording, lads. Yes, I am. So we have the a.k.a. XC1 Telefrag, fast-moving, teleport any direction. Again, drawing power from shields, multiple charges. I think it's 3. You got to be careful in using that. I imagine, again, given that this class is going to be based around this Fusion Blast, and we'll talk a bit about the Fusion Blast and how it's important to get the right angle, hit from the right side. It's important for this class to have a lot of mobility. Right, so it can teleport directly on targets to deal damage, so you get a Telefrag component to that. I guess that's why it's called the Telefrag. So now not only do you want to blink next to enemies, but you want to blink right on top of them so you can deal the Telefrag damage and finish them off with this Fusion Blast. This class is just oozing synergy. You got to wait to see what some of the synergistic elements of this class are, because it's amazing. So you have a Telefrag component to the XC1 Telefrag, which is basically your mobility. Now we get to Fusion Blast. So fires a frontal cone blast. We know about that. Deals fusion damage. We know about that. Double damage when hitting rear sides. So basically what you want to do, you want to hit this up, you want to get behind enemies, and you want to hit them with the Fusion Blast. Massive damage. Increased damage at the center. So again, incentivizing you to blink on top of enemies, get behind them, and blast them away. Very much a kind of CQC mage glass cannon type of class. Can be used twice. I love this one. Can be used twice, but using the last charge consumes all shields. So basically meaning that, you know, if you want to use it in a pinch, say you got an enemy really down low, you have that second fusion blast option, and if you do use it, it cuts out all your shields. So there's a risk-reward element to the second usage of the fusion blast. Now that's perfect, because in some cases you might want to use it just to finish off a group of enemies. In others you can hold back on it so you don't end up sacrificing your shield. Really cool on the fusion blast, definitely built around that, and you'll see more of that when we come to the perks. Interesting one, and I don't really know how this fits with the Chrono Striker, but you do have a Slowmo ability. I'll show you how this works, guys. Very interesting, but ultimately your enemies end up being slowed down significantly, as are you. Your bullets slow down, but there's quite a bit extra damage that's dealt. I love the way Shrike explains the ability. Fire and move slow, deal high damage, cooldowns, and then extra question marks. Well, I'll show you how that works. Don't know if it's quite the right flavor for the Chrono Striker, but anyway, you guys be the judge of that. Now here we get to the real synergistic elements. So Prismatic Chain, how's that changed? And this is where you're going to start to see some of the absolutely bonkers elements of Chrono Striker. So the class ability usage gains stacks. Basically, every class ability usage, I believe you get 2 stacks per class ability usage. That's at least what I saw when I was just running around with it earlier. Each stack grants you 10% ability damage. It's pumping up your fusion blast, basically, right? Everything's built around getting that high, pumping it into fusion blast, and then just melting someone's face off with that. So each stack grants 10%, resets after 8 seconds or 10 stacks. So you're basically managing your stacks all the way throughout your run. So you're managing your stacks. You're trying to keep it at that kind of sweet spot, 6 to 8 stacks, so that you can go off on your fusion blast. And then after it resets, and I got to read this properly, I think it's got to do with hard. Yeah, it does have to do with hard resets. So once you hit 10 stacks, Prismatic Chain resets, and you have hard reset, which is the other perk, come into play. Once you hit the 10, you get no ammo cost for 5 seconds. It resets your weapon heat, and then refreshes your shields. So you can already see a playstyle that's building around this. You teleport around, maybe use your Slowmo, stack up your Prismatic Chain. Once that's around the sweet spot of 6 to 8, you blink in, maybe do some Telefrag damage, melt them with a fusion blast or 2 to the face. The second one removes your shields, and then if you end up using, obviously, again, you might end up hitting your hard reset, which refreshes your shields, and now makes you into this really dangerous close quarters combat unit over the duration of hard reset. No ammo cost, no heat, your weapons reset, and your shields are back up. So really cool. Again, all built around Fusion Blast, using your abilities, which is why I call it a mage class, stacking up, and then knowing when to hit your hard reset so that you can actually go into like full-on close quarters combat mode. The synergy affects beams and auras, increases the cooldown speed of 25%. Again, I'm not really sure how some of these work. I know for the Chrono Trooper, they talk about potion and booster items and perks. I don't think these items actually have that descriptor on them, so it's quite hard to know what is what. I don't know what a beam or an aura is, particularly when I'm thinking of items. That has to be that has to make its way into the tooltips at some point for items. But clearly a synergy with beams and auras. And in terms of items, your charges have 25% chance to not be consumed. That's very strong, actually. 25% chance to not consume a charge. That's like a built-in upgrade for basically all of the items that you pick up that are charge-based. And then finally, you get your mastery, and this is really cool. Telefragging in instant succession deals 50% bonus damage and reduces teleport cooldown. So when I read instant succession, I'm assuming that you got a telefrag twice in a row. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out. But really cool. Again, built around the telefragging. And you can see how this class really is the wild mage, the crazy CQC battle mage kind of flavor to it, which I think really works. Let's jump right in with the Chrono Striker. and have a very quick run and see how some of this stuff works. But all in all, really loving the flavor, guys. Classes were really missing that core identity component of how they're meant to play, what they're meant to play around. And that's pretty much been addressed with some of the new shapes and flavors of the classes. Right, so got some enemies here. Let's get this reloaded. Right, let's do some blinking. You can see up here, we've got Prismatic Chain. Again, I blinked, so now I've got 3 charges of it. Again, now I've got 5 charges of it. Now I'm going to expel this. That kills them. I'm going to expel it again. I lose my shields. I get up close and personal. I use my Slowmo. I'm trying to get the stacks up to the highest. I might not actually be able to use it now. There we go. Now I've got hyper feed on, right? Meaning that now everything's reset. My shields have reset. And so that's meant to be how the class is ultimately meant to be playing. The one thing I really don't like, by the way, and I think is my first piece of feedback, this effect, once you've activated your Prismatic Chain or your hard reset on your Prismatic Chain, is really ridiculous. It needs to go away. It needs to be lessened a bit. Anyway, but you can see exactly how the class is meant to play with that. So you keep yourself mobile. Just make sure we don't die before we can actually showcase some of these abilities. So you keep yourself mobile. You use your stuff liberally over there. Make sure you just keep using it. Now I'm building up my Prismatic Chains. Now I use it... Oh, whoops, wrong one. I used that ability effect by mistake. Sorry, guys. Misclicking buttons there. We'll get it right eventually. But the entirety of it is built around knowing how to manage that Prismatic Chain. How to manage that Prismatic Chain. So I've blinked there. That's 2 uses. Oh, I'm going to end up dying here, lad. Oh... Yeah, man, that's tough. These things are going to end up killing me. Give me a second, guys. I don't want to die here. Okay, we're good. We're good. Right, let's get the hell out of here. Right. All about the Prismatic Chain management. I'm failing at it at the moment, lads, but I'll get it right eventually, and I can show you exactly how that's meant to work. Right, let's get ourselves up and running. Let me first show you Slowmo before we get really back into the whole... before we get back into the entirety of the Prismatic chaining, so to speak. So Slowmo, I've already used it a couple of times, but let's just find a set of enemies here. So I'm going to use it here. Plonk down the Slowmo. Everyone moves slowly. Everyone shoots slowly. You're doing more damage. We're going to end up dying here, aren't we? Oh. But basically, everything slows down. I don't know why these projectiles don't slow down. That's probably another bug that needs to be addressed. But the whole idea is that you slow everything down, and enemies are slowed around you. You have more damage. You're able to react quicker and therefore kill them. Don't know how tied I am to that ability. I keep saying I'm not that much of a fan of it. But, you know, willing to try it. Let's do it one more time over here. I just need to find some healing so I don't end up getting myself killed. Let's try it over here one more time with some regular enemies. Here we go. There we go. You can see they shoot really slowly. And in that way, you get the advantage to end up killing them. You obviously chain up your Prismatic Chain when you use that ability. Let's get a weapon over here. Reaching variant. Right. Okay. So let's try and get that Prismatic Chain to activate. So what we're looking to do, we're looking to blink around, get that Prismatic Chain to activate, run in, hit them with that, run in over here, Telefrag them, jump in again, hit them with the other one. Really cool. And then if we do it one more time, we've activated, we've replenished our shields, we've activated the hard reset, and we're back to full shields to manage through that. Really cool. Really, really cool. High skill ceiling, lads. Not easy to manage at all. Ooh. And you can see that since we have no ammo cost chance with this hyper feed, basically 75% chance to not use any ammo, really makes you into CQC god at the time that you have that available to you. Let me just move this around, lads. Blink away, blink away, blink in again, hit that, blink away, slow motion. Get away. Everything slowed down there, lads. All right. So that is effectively the new Chrono Striker. Absolutely love it. Can't wait to play around with it more. Everything built around building up that mega fusion blast, melting faces, and then activating your hard reset and going into that CQC God mode. And that should just be immensely fun. Really good. Love it. Very highly mobile class as well because you have all those charges on your telefrags. So that is the Chrono Striker, lads. We are going to finish off quickly by just touching on the focus perks as well. Right. So that is back into the lobby. So we didn't really talk about this one, but time to strike, I think it's been slightly changed because I think before it used to be linked to item critical chance, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know whether now the critical chance is literally just related to your weapons or whether it's related to abilities and items as well. But anyway, again, it's something to play around with. Ideally, what you want is to go into your hard reset as you hit time to strike, and then you've just basically got high crit chance with whatever weapon you're choosing to mow down your enemies with. Honestly, I think this class feels really strong. Is limited by the fact that you're using those shields every time you teleport, which means there is some limit to how much you can just port around and go into a fusion blast, but still, I think you play this class correctly and there is going to be a high skill ceiling to it. Again, it's just a theme across all the classes. Hitting your time to strike will be something that's pivotal to helping you deal with enemies at higher levels. So, level 9 perk is Focus Instability. Teleporting leaves a fusion anomaly behind, dealing damage over time in a small area. So it's like a bit of a dot damage at a point on the map, wherever you teleport from. Quite nice. Maybe you can create some area denial, do some dot damage on enemies, all that good stuff. Focus super speed. Telefrag and grants a 20% speed boost. Last 2 seconds can stack. Teleport recharge speed is increased by 20%. Very nice. So that's more building into your telefrag element. And we didn't do much of telefragging, but again, really cool that you can just telefrag into opponents. And it makes sense, right? Because you're trying to get close enough to hit that fusion blast as well. All in all, really good. The only other thing we didn't mention is that this class does have a passive reduction to weapon damage by 15%. I mean, that's pretty significant, but again, it's filtering and funneling you towards playing around your abilities. And that's great, right? Some classes might have weapons, but it's not necessary to build entire classes just around specific weapons or around the need to use weapons. I like the idea of shifting the focus back to abilities and building your runs around your abilities rather than your items or your guns. Really cool. Really cool. Love it. Love it. Well done on that, Flowfire. Well done on that, Shrike. Some really well thought out ideas with the Chrono Striker. Next is our favorite breachy boy, Chrono Breacher. Now, probably the least changed of all of the ones that we've seen. I think the idea more for Chrono Breacher was to give him more of an ability to play in the way he was meant to play, which is literally up in the grill of enemies 24/7. Up in your face, shotgun, shooty, thank you ma'am, type of gameplay. So what's changed? Breaching Blink, pretty much no change. The important point for Chrono is that it's only one charge. I mean, this was the case before as well. And really importantly, that it doesn't cost any shields. So this is the one Chrono class where you don't have to expend shields, but obviously you lose the additional mobility, the additional charges and the Trooper and the Striker provide you. Now, what I love is now enemies in a 6-meter range become staggered. I don't quite know what staggered is. I don't think you can actually check. I was trying to check with the control button there. I don't quite know what staggered is. We'll test it out. But again, what it seems to be asking you to do is blink into the face of enemies, right? You blink into enemies, you stagger them, and you take them out. Breaching Charge, fairly, I don't want to say unchanged. Whereas, so this is what was interesting before. So the Breaching Charge used to be 4 charges that you could throw any number of them. You could throw 1, 3, 2, however many you wanted. But you would only start the recharge cycle for the ability once you've thrown all of them. And once you did go through a full recharge cycle, it would replenish all 4 of the breaching charges. So this has been slightly changed. Now, instead of having a choice of how many you want to throw, most people were throwing all 4 because it makes sense. It takes it onto cooldown, gets you a new fresh batch of breaching charges. So it throws all of them at the same time, right? And then that ultimately then starts you into a new refresh cycle to get all the charges back. And I believe it refreshes all the charges again. It says can be cancelled by standing. I'm assuming... I'm going to test that one out. I don't really know what that means. So you start throwing your breaching charges. I'm assuming if you just stand still, it stops throwing them. That's how you cancel the animation and the actual throwing of the breaching charges. We'll test that one out. But breaching charge, slight changes, but pretty much the breaching charge you know and love. Some questions as to whether they're going to change the way the flight path works. I don't think it's really changed all that much with the new update. We'll see, and I'll show you. It's still kind of a limited range throw that throws maybe like a couple of meters in front of you. You don't get to target it with your mouse. I might be wrong on that, but we'll test that out. But breaching charge, that's ultimately the changes. Fusion stun grenade. Throws a stun grenade, stuns all targets for 2 seconds. Also staggers. Now here we get some of the explanation for what stagger is. Staggered targets fire and move 50% slower and affected 50% longer by negative status effects. Staggering again deals bonus damage and extends the duration. Very nice. So the idea is, again, you want to incentivize Chrono Breacher players by making it easier for them to blink into enemies. Staggering enemies now makes them far less reactive to you being at close range and allows you to do the job that you're meant to do, which is blow their faces off with a shotgun. Really awesome. And then obviously there's multiple stagger triggers. So if you were to hit them with a fusion stun grenade first and then blink in, you're dealing bonus damage and extending the duration of the stagger effect. So that's between a breaching blink, I don't know how long you stagger opponents with a breaching blink, and a fusion stun. You could end up staggering opponents for a while, which really makes them ineffective at the ranges in which you want to engage them, which is really close up. That's really cool. Let's have a quick look at the focus perks. Big entrance grants 1 second of increased ability power on teleporting. No doubt wanting you to... I mean, I think the rotation that it is telling you to use here is blinking in with breaching blink and then just unloading with your breaching charges. Basically, that's what it's asking you to do with that. But increased ability power, obviously you're not going to stun the moment you get there. So pretty much a focus perk that deals or plays directly around the breaching charge. Next is focus into battle. Grants a stack for each enemy near. Refreshes 200 shields per enemy near. Triggers on teleport. Right, so again, we want to incentivize you breachy boys out there to get in the face of enemies. We want to give you a focus perk that when you teleport into a group of enemies, if you're low on shields, you get to replenish those shields. Awesome. Gain 2% critical chance per stack. Okay. Incentivizing that close CQC play. Dive. Teleporting into 5 enemies. Reset the teleport cooldown. Allows doing teleporter stagger combos. Okay. Grants a brief speed boost. So basically incentivizing you to go balls to the wall, right? Getting into a group of 5 enemies is not something that's recommended for your health in Synthetik 2. This is directly trying to help you in the scenarios where you really want to play balls to the wall. Really awesome. I think we're going to stick with big entrance. Maybe we'll actually take the focus into battle one for this. Well, can we pick that? There we go. Pick that. Pick up the shooty. I'll keep on that one. And then usually the stuff that you'd expect, right? Not a heck of a lot of changes, I think, in some of the perks. Actually, no, there is some changes. Just touch on those. At least for breaching equipment, it's exactly the same. You still get the super shorty. That's still there. Weapons do deal 20% more damage. Again, Chrono is a weapons-based class. CQC weapons-based class. Whereas something like a Striker is more of an ability-based class. That's really clear when you're trying to nerf and buff things like weapon damage across a number of the perks that you implement. Really cool. Nothing very different there. And then there's preparation. On entering a new level or on dropping below... Well, on entering a new level, when you drop below 20% health, It grants you a stim pack effect for 20 seconds and grants you full plating. 100-second cooldown, so not something you can rely on all that often. But the idea is here, again, it's trying to incentivize you to play in close range. That really was one of the problems with the Chrono Breacher in the past. It just wasn't giving you enough reasons, enough incentives, and enough, I guess, tools to really engage enemies within that shotgun range. Now you can see we've narrowed the class's focus. We've how do you say it? It's the depth of flavor of a class is greater. It's building around the strengths of a class and pushing you to play a certain way, which just wasn't there with the almost kind of wider class approach before. More abilities, more stuff, but lack of real specialization. So kudos again, and we're going to give it a run just now. Let's just run through the synergy. We have a synergy that affects our shotguns and launchers, increases our armor penetration by 10, and increases mag size by 1. Again, you want to focus people playing close range. You want to give them shotguns. You want to give them reasons to carry shotguns, and that's exactly it. I don't quite know. I mean, my initial thoughts at reading launchers is a little bit strange. I don't know why you'd want to take a launcher into a CQC scenario. I don't know if that's quite the right thing. I would think shotguns and SMGs, maybe not SMGs, maybe, but anything that packs a punch at short range, really. And launchers aren't really something I feel like is meant to be short range. Maybe something to think about there. I think you could pretty much safely drop the launchers and just include something else. But anyway, the idea is that it incentivizes you to play at that range, and it wants you to play with shotguns. All weapons reload and eject 15% faster. I'm assuming that's to give you the advantages with using shotguns and launchers, right? Well, launchers for the eject and reload, and shotguns just for the reload, right? Makes sense. Again, building around what you're trying to get the class to do. And then I think this is pretty much the same as it was before. 50% chance for no ammo cost on your temporal ammunitions. Double when the last shot is in the magazine, so 30%. Don't know if that last part has been included and wasn't there in the past, but I think that's enough talking about the Chrono Breacher. I think we can just safely jump right in and take the class for a very quick spin. And it should be pretty much in line and akin to what you would have typically expected from your Breacher from day one, but we just never really had, right? No real incentive to go in. So now we're just gonna get right in there. Gonna get in over here. Gonna blink in, hit the stagger effect, smash him down. Let's get the shooty out. Get rid of that. Let's get a reload in. Okay, got some enemies here. Blink in. Do a couple of these. Throw that over there. Shoot them down. Let's reload the weapon. Try get around here again. Let's throw another set of charges. And we're moving around, trying to get the enemy. Then we're going to blink in, stagger some enemies. Throw that charge over there. Get rid of those enemies. Really awesome. Now we're going to try the fusion stun into blink effect. So maybe not on this enemy here. Get rid of him. Actually, we'll do it on another group of enemies, I think. Only 2 bullets left here, so let's make those bullets count. Right, so we've got a bunch of enemies there. We're going to lead in with a fusion stun so we can hit them with the stagger. Then we're going to blink in, hit them with a double stagger, unload breaching charge, and then face melt them with our shotgun. Oh, I'm going to do it with our shooty, actually. Right, so let's try that. Jump it in. Stagger once, stagger twice, and we're staggered ourselves. That was pretty funny. Staggered ourselves there, boys. Let's try that one again. That's odd, though. Is that still going to be like some sort of an area of effect? Because that's going to be really annoying if that's the case. Let's just give that a go again. I just want to see if we just prematurely jumped in there. That might have been the case. Let's find another group of enemies and give that one a go. Okay, another group of enemies down here. Let's try one of these, get them stunned. Now we're going to jump in. And we're going to offload. And there you can see, basically while they stunned, or once they staggered, they are pretty much useless, boys. That's exactly how you want the class to play, right? Doesn't look, by the way, like the breaching charges end up replenishing all of your charge. I think you have to wait for each of them to be replenished this time around. So that's a slight difference as well. I guess that's to balance it out. Okay, let's try again. Alright, let's try find another group of enemies that we can do the... Here we go. Let's get in here. I'm going to throw one of these out. I'm going to blink in. And we're going to stun ourselves because we're pro at this game. Get rid of them all. But again, everything on this class is now built to incentivize you getting into the face of your enemies, which is exactly what you couldn't do before because you weren't given the tools to do it. Absolutely love it. And that's pretty much the Chrono Breacher class, lads. I don't think there's all that much. I just want to see how this works with the stun grenade. That shouldn't be happening, by the way. Let's try throwing that again. None of the nade effects in this game, unless there's something like a poison cloud, a gas cloud, poison cloud, psionic cloud, whatever you want to call it. Unless that's in place, I think we had our methadone activate as well. That's pretty cool. And increases your armor with the methadone. That's pretty nice. So anything that's a grenade type effect, like an HE grenade, like a flash grenade, like a fusion stun grenade, shouldn't really have any sort of a lingering effect. I mean, it should be an instantaneous effect that affects enemies for a period of time. It shouldn't be something that lingers, which I think it does right now. So we're going to throw this again. That shouldn't be happening. That really shouldn't be happening. The idea is you want to be able to do that as your combo. That's your entrance combo, right? So it should really be incentivizing you to throw a flash and then jump in so you can double stagger enemies. Let's try that again, see if we can't get this to work properly. Throw it over there. That's a bit better. Oh, loving it, boys. Loving it! Throw some nades out as well. Don't like how it interacts with the nades. I think that needs a little bit of work. I think that needs to be targetable, really. Oh, whoops. Throw that one out. You see? We got hit over there. That really shouldn't be happening. That's going to be my first piece of feedback, Shrike. You cannot make that fusion stun grenade a lingering effect that sticks around for a while. You got to give the players the chance. Throw that in, blink in, and take full advantage of that stagger damage. And that's the Breacher class, boys. So I think we're going to pretty much end it there. I'm not going to jump into a run or anything at this point. I just wanted to do this video, give you guys a really good heads up as to what's coming, show you how to get into the beta stream, show you what the changes were for the Chrono. I think we're pretty much 47 minutes in already. I think we're going to give it a skip in terms of the Riot Guard classes, and we'll probably do those tomorrow or in the next video. I hope you guys have enjoyed that. Do jump into the beta. Do give it a go. The classes are absolutely great. It should be a lot of fun to play around with them. And really, you are missing out, guys. It's a chance to provide feedback, chance to test the classes, and a chance to really influence the direction in which the game goes. For example, the Fusion Blast on the Striker, the idea about it using your shields or using up all your shields for that second blast was something that I ended up suggesting, or at least partially suggesting. And Shrike took that and put that into the ability. It's a great opportunity to shape the game, to be a part of the development process. And hey, these classes are so much more fun than what you can currently have in the game. So by all means, guys, jump in, have some fun. If you enjoyed this video, lads, do leave a like. If you really enjoyed it, hit me up with a subscribe, lads. If you didn't, leave me a dislike. Let me know what I can do better. I've been Flash Hazardous. Until next time, Flash out.